Welcome, dear listener, and thanks for joining us.
I'm Yanto.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is a podcast all about the weird and wonderful world of the dark comedy anthology series, Inside Number 9.
On each episode, we'll be diving into another one of Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith's twisted tales, putting it under a lens and examining it to within an inch of its life.
So make yourself comfortable, grab a cup of tea, and join us for The Ninth Degree.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yes, I am okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired of a weekend in London with work, so that was fun.
Wow.
But back to it today.
Back to reality.
Yeah. What, have you been up to? Anything exciting?
Not really, no. Just plodding on. And no, that's not the episode title. Just to point that out. I wonder if listeners spotted our hidden episode title from last week. So it was Death Be Not Proud.
What would your final memories before your death be?
Not proud of quite a few of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, well done on that one. I was that was one of your ones.
Well, yeah, it was a team effort though to execute it. I wonder how obvious that was.
We'll find out. Let us know, people.
Can let us know, yeah. So listen out for one this week. As we discuss the Trial of Elizabeth Gadge.
So, what are your thoughts on this one? Is this one of the ones you really liked, or?
Well, yeah, it's enjoyable. It's very funny.
Yes.
But I found it quite hard to. Well, we'll talk about rating at the end, but comparing it to other episodes, I don't know if it's quite a middling one for me. But
okay, fair.
We'll see.
I was just rewatching it before we had this call, and I was like, okay, I will rewatch it. I have only watched it like a week ago to showing a friend it, but I'll rewatch it again just to be sure, and made a page of notes which are just quotes because it's such a great episode for quotes.
It is.
But for those that need a refresh, I'll give a synopsis from the Inside Number 9 wiki. Two of England's most notorious and feared witch-finders are summoned by Sir Andrew Pike to the unassuming village of Little Happens in order to try a defenceless old woman.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I like the parody of Little Happens.
Yeah. It's very good.
There's so many villages like that where I grew up that's like that kind of name.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in a greater and a littler, like twinned village. Yeah, so we had a lot of those.
It kind of gave me League of Gentlemen vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Not since the escaped cow has there been such excitement in their village. David Warner's great in this.
Oh, he is, yeah.
He's my favourite bit of the episode.
Yes.
He gets the best lines. And how seriously he delivers everything.
Yes.
I think that's what makes it so funny for me. Like, it's not... Yes, it's obviously a parody, but it's almost not. It's like... how seriously they take it.
Absolutely, yeah. They play it very straight.
Yeah,
and that
which only makes it funnier. Yeah.
Because the whole joke of it is that, well, in many ways it's not a joke because I know it was a long time ago, but these kind of things did happen.
Yeah.
And like people really did make these claims and connections and things which are absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like that's the point of the episode, is to just kind of lampoon that and be like, this is what people actually thought. Like, yeah.
And how they can't see how absurd it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I do like the voice that Reece is putting on for his character.
It's so over the top.
It's just constantly like, Elizabeth Gadge, you stand accused of witchcraft. How do you plead?
And that moustache as well, along with the stupid voice.
Very funny.
But I like the filming of it, like how the attention to detail, even though I'm sure I read somewhere that like they had no money to make it, but how authentic it looks. And then these characters and everything, the voices and the costumes and the setting and everything all really adds to it so much.
It's very good. And the dialogue is very sort of authentic, I think. Well, I don't know, I can't vouch for that, but...
Yeah, as far as we know.
It feels authentic.
Yeah, and I just thought that it's the only... Well, other than The Devil of Christmas, it's the only period episode they do, which is interesting.
Curse of the Ninth as well.
Oh, of course, sorry, yeah. I knew I'd missed one.
But you would have thought they'd do more, really.
Yeah, over such a long run, you'd expect there to have been several. One dropped in here and there. I don't know how to talk about this one because I've just got a load of quotes.
I know what you mean. It's quite a hard one to talk about. I think the two characters that Reese and Steve play are really interesting and work well together, because obviously you've got Reese's character, Mr. Warren, who is really like gung-ho about everything.
And he's more to get paid and do whatever needs doing to get a confession kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but I think he's like sadistic and just like he seems to enjoy inflicting pain and the power of that and everything. Whereas Clark is slightly more
sympathetic.
Yeah, but also if he feels almost slightly anachronistic, it's almost like he's the one that can almost see the absurdity. True.
Yeah.
Which is a nice dynamic.
It's a funny, the three of them, between Reese, Steve and David Warner's character, how they sort of bounce off each other, because they are so different. And it does work well between the sort of the straight-laced one, the sadistic one and the funny one.
Yeah.
To sort of maximise the comedy without it being silly.
Yeah. And I mean, Pike is such an idiot. Like, he's just such a simple fool who's sort of risen. Do you know, I tell you one thing this episode really reminded me of, which is Blackadder.
Right, yeah.
It totally screamed Blackadder to me.
I can see that, actually. I hadn't considered it, but yes, now you say it.
So one thing with Pike being this sort of, he's Justice Pike. He's risen to this level of authority, but he's an absolute buffoon.
The sort of Hugh Laurie type character.
Yeah, or Stephen Fry, Melchett sort of thing. Yeah. But you've also, like, there's a couple of the lines, when she gives the testimony that she saw my mother converse with an imp in the shape of a small mouse, which she did keep in a wicker bottle. And Steve's character says, and could this imp in fact be a small mouse in a wicker bottle? Just sounded so much like a Blackadder line. Yeah. Very funny.
One of my favourite scenes, the whole thing, is the when they have their likeness drawn.
I love that.
It always makes me laugh. It's just so silly.
Yeah.
But just so well done. And then obviously then the reveal of what it actually looks like.
The punchline of it, just being... Yeah.
Some squiggles.
Because it's a funny enough joke by itself. Yeah. Like, just the idea of, draw a likeness instead of take a photo. Yeah. That's really funny. And then you just see the reveal of it's just this, like, stick man thing. And he took so long and so he looked like he was being so careful with it. Yeah. It was so funny.
He was so attentive, poor little Richard Two Shoes.
Yes.
Richard Two Shoes the cobbler. I love the jokes they get out of the name, and like the long game for Goody Two Shoes. Like, I don't think I saw that coming the first time. And
no,
it's such a great
huge, like, quite convoluted setup for that joke, but it's kind of worth it.
And you kind of think that you've gotten the joke from him being Richard Two Shoes the cobbler.
Yeah,
and
I'd not heard of referring to wives as good wife and goody before watching this episode.
I did know they did that. Yeah, is it in the Crucible? I think that they do that as well.
Right, yeah. Which obviously this has drawn a lot of reference from.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot of those sorts of things. I didn't know it was a thing in this country, because I think I'd seen it mostly from like American witch trials.
Right.
So I wasn't sure if it was a universal thing, but I'm guessing so. Purely brought in for that joke.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And we've got Thomas and Sarah Nutter.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a reference to Alice Nutter, who famously was killed for presumably being a witch.
Was she Pendle?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Pendle witch trials. But they're a funny pair, aren't they? Obviously, Thomas, played by is it Jim Howick?
Yes, from Ghosts
and Horrible Histories. Yeah.
And is that her real voice? Because if so,
I was wondering that.
It's such a strange voice she's got.
She sounds like she's got a sore throat the whole time.
All the time.
And she's like, my mother did do this and I did it. Yeah.
How much do we believe of what they actually saw, though? Because obviously, spoilers, it's all real.
Well, yeah.
Did they actually see anything?
Personally, no, I don't think they did. Personally, I think it was all Thomas's idea for personal gain.
Yeah, well, that obviously seems obvious as you're going through it, but then I'm wondering, given the fact of the twist...
I think the twist is just the twist. I still personally don't believe they actually saw anything. From their performances, I feel like you can tell that they're lying.
I assumed they were, yeah. But I just wondered on this watch whether... if she really was a witch, surely they must have known something.
I don't know.
Or seen something.
Maybe.
But yeah. She does play it very well, though. Ruth Sheen as Elizabeth. Like, you do believe her. Did you see the twist coming or not?
On the first watch, I I don't know, to be honest. I can't remember. I don't think I was really watching it sort of trying to guess what a twist might be.
I don't think I was either.
But it's another one where there's quite a nice sort of double twist. Like, obviously, we're led to believe that Steve's character has tied up Reese's character to send him off to be burnt.
Yeah.
Which is a lovely, lovely twist, and it feels quite earned.
There's actually like an arc with their characters. Yeah.
Yeah, then there's the double reveal of actually she was a witch all along. She kills him and turns into a crow or whatever it is and disappears.
Yeah, with a mouse.
Yes.
With her little demon friend.
Yes.
What happened to Rory the dog? Did she go and pick him up as well?
Oh, yeah.
I love that he's called Rory as well.
I know,
the 1700s.
Yeah. Tis a spaniel called Rory. Yeah.
I love it when dogs have people names.
Yeah, that is funny. But yeah, it's just all this ridiculousness of like, this is actually a piece of evidence in this trial that she danced with a dog. Like, I'm sure many people have danced with their dogs. Like,
yeah.
Doesn't mean they're witches.
No. Yeah, you see people all over online dancing with them on TikTok or whatever, like Great Danes and things.
Yeah. One of my favourite moments is when he says, you named him. What is named backwards?
And how long it takes, Pike's character. Fetch me a quill.
Yeah. I love that kind of thing where you've got like it seems like a whole world of just insanity, and then you've got one character who can see how absurd it is. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, well, obviously she turns out she is a witch, but at that point when you're watching it for the first time, Elizabeth is just like, it's the only one that can see sense when she says, well, it's D-Man, isn't it?
It's near enough. Yeah, it's just this village full of idiots.
Yeah.
And no one can seem to see that it makes no sense.
Yeah. It just reminded me of, have you seen those things that like really conservative like Christian people post when it's Pride Month?
Yeah.
And it says demon in the middle of it.
Yeah. I was trying to think of one of those. I was like, there's loads of these and I can't bring one to mind.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We should also just touch on Pike's obsession with arse licking.
Yeah, he has a fascination, doesn't he?
He really does.
Is it on the hole or just on the cheek?
Yeah, when he randomly just brings up and he's like, is it just the devil who has his arse kissed, or can anyone be forced to endure it?
Endure it.
And obviously the pear, the torture instrument, can be expanded to the point of ecstasy.
Agony.
And he tries to steal it.
Yeah. Well, does he drop it out of his pocket or does it drop out of somewhere else?
Oh. Because he says, I shall away to my chambers, and then he drops it, I'd assumed he was taking it away to use it.
Well, yeah, until this time, yes. But
now you're questioning if he was already using it.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Possibly, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame David Warner is sadly no longer with us, so we can't ask him how he was playing it. But
it is fantastic.
Yeah.
And like for what a really respected actor to do such a silly role. I love it when you get a character like that. Like you'll get Charles Dance does like the readings of crap books on Big Fat Quiz of the Year.
Right.
And like it's just seeing someone of his caliber read out like Casey Price's autobiography or whatever. I was reading that obviously the budget was stretched so thin because of the set and getting the costumes and everything that they could only afford the extras for like half a day or something.
Yeah.
So that's why they write in the line about getting rid of them all, so they can't afford them anymore.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
It works.
You brought it on yourselves.
Yes. I like as well how, when he loses the crowd and they all start laughing about the hat with titties.
Yeah.
And you get this very Monty Python-esque, Life of Brian-esque scene of the next person who laughs will be killed.
And you see Elizabeth in the background, like pulling faces and stuff. Which is great.
Yeah.
Trying to make Richard laugh.
I don't know if that was a deliberate Monty Python reference, but it felt like it could be.
It does feel like it, yeah. Because
it's two scenes in that film. There's where the guards are laughing. that scene. But there's also also reminded me a little bit of the stoning scene where John Cleese is like, now nobody is to stone anybody until I blow this whistle or whatever he says.
Yeah, it does feel very Python-y.
Yes. Although again, like as we said earlier, they play it so straight. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I wish they did more like this. To be fair, would be interesting.
I wish there were more period ones. Full stop. Yeah,
That's what I mean. Yeah,
there's such a rich history that they could have had a go at, but I guess period episodes inherently are more expensive.
Yeah,
you've got to get all the costumes and find a location that really works. But they could have had some great ones of like, I don't know, on the Titanic or all sorts of things that you could have done.
Yeah. Inside Cabin 9 on the Titanic or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, I'll tell you what they should have done. They should have done a number 9 bus. That would have been a good one, yeah.
But yeah, I'm surprised they didn't actually, on that vein, do more. Like, they could have had, I don't know, row number 9 of a plane, or flight number 9 of a plane.
Oh, like, yeah.
You know, there's all sorts of different settings that, considering that most of them are just in a flat or a house.
Yeah. I'd love to hear Reese's response to that. Just say, well, you fucking do it then.
Do you know how much that says?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see they were going to do I don't think it ever went anywhere, but a sort of spin-off for amateur type people getting into it. And it was going to be like Inside Number 9A or something.
Oh.
And it was designed for people to do as like shorts or...
I didn't see that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think there is one. I'm sure it's called something like The Inventors or something, is a one-off episode.
So that was a webisode that they did?
Yeah, they were all web ones, I think, was the plan.
Right. Oh, okay.
I think that was maybe like the first one, and then I don't think it ever went anywhere.
Oh, okay. Because funnily enough, someone messaged the account on Instagram the other day and asked if we were going to cover The Inventors.
I've actually never seen it.
Well, I tried to find it, and there is a version on YouTube, but it's really hard to follow because the idea is it's interactive, but obviously it's just a recorded version on YouTube. So yeah.
Okay. No, I've never looked at it at all. I don't know anything about it really.
But it sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'll do some more research and I'll come back.
I also found out the other day that apparently the original working title for the series was going to be Happy Endings.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Never heard that before.
No, I hadn't.
Yeah, Inside Number 9 is much better.
Yeah.
More of just the absurdity of, when they prick her to see if she's going to bleed. And again, this all really happened, but if she bleeds, she's a witch. And he says no. So he says, so if she doesn't bleed, she's a witch. And he was like, well, not necessarily. So what's the point of pricking her then?
Yeah. And it went round and round and round and round. And ultimately it made no sense.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay,
it's just an excuse to prick her, isn't it?
Effectively, yeah.
Yeah, and torture her.
It was so barbaric.
Yeah. And all fueled by misogyny, obviously.
Yeah.
I would say. Although, did they have men accused of being witches as well? I don't know.
I was just going to ask that. I don't know.
They may have done. But I'm sure the majority was aimed at women.
Probably.
Like single, mysterious women, probably largely.
Yeah. Although, when she comes back off having been on the rack, every time the rack's mentioned, I always think there must be a split second where it feels incredible before it's agony.
Yeah. It's tempting, isn't it?
Right, we'll just stop there. Everything feels good.
Yeah.
I was reading from Reese where he was saying about how his research and how a lot of it he'd taken from actual accounts and stuff, and how much focuses on tits.
Yeah.
And suckling things.
Yes.
In all these reports. And it does get a lot of coverage in this episode.
Oh, yeah. I think it says a lot about humans, and particularly at that time, I guess, the sort of puritanical thing of like, and these sort of deep, dark desires that everyone was sort of burying down. And then you sort of project it onto other people, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It is. And sex before about 1900 must have been grim as hell.
Ugh.
Like... Mrs. Two Shoes. Oh, I mean, it's not great imagery.
No, but they're very bawdy and like very upfront about it, aren't they? She can suck like a leech, or whatever he says.
Yeah, and he invites to demonstrate on Pike.
Yeah,
he's like, no, that won't be necessary.
It's all very very carefree, isn't it?
Yeah, and she's like, she doesn't want to go along with it. And then as soon as she starts to get interested, she starts giving him the sort of eye all the time.
Yeah. I do love the line about, have you spent night after night with this vile hag? And he says, yes, but she's my wife.
And the law dictates it.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the funnier ones, like just the gag rate, like they've packed them in.
Yeah, I think it's my favourite one to show people for comedy value.
It's very sitcom-esque.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah, and it's quite, on the face of it, quite a simple kind of funny story. Yes, there's a bit of a darker bit towards the end, but otherwise, yeah, anyone can kind of enjoy it. I'm worried this episode's going to be 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's because it's like quite simple in terms of what happens.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot to talk about apart from just...
It's just joke
the
after
lines
joke.
we find funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of story. Well, there is, but yeah. We haven't talked about George's character much.
Is that the cowman?
Yeah, the cowman. How he doesn't really make any front about the fact that he's accusing her because she owes him money.
Yeah. But that doesn't seem to bother anyone apart from...
No one cares.
Mr. Clark. Yeah, it's just so... I know this is a comedy, but it makes me just like... I find that so fascinating, that whole thing.
How was no one... I suppose, like he mentions about, we've not found a coven for however long. I guess people in the audience daren't say how stupid it was because they'd be worried of getting accused themselves.
Absolutely. The whole thing... Yeah, I wrote that down. I said, like, the whole thing is just fueled by fear of being accused yourself.
Yeah. Like, do even the witch-finders in general... Do you think they believed it?
Some of them probably did, and some of them were just opportunistic, I guess.
Yeah.
And like you'd be better off being the person finding the witches than being found as a witch. Yeah.
I guess.
But we can laugh at it and say, oh, how absurd, how ridiculous. But things like that still go on to this day, and like
in just a different guise. Yeah.
Exactly. People are making ludicrous and ridiculous claims every day. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how much logic you present them with.
No, once you've said the line, whether it's then found to be true or false later, they're still going to believe it.
Yeah.
Hence why we still use the term witch hunt.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even all that long ago that it stopped happening, was it?
Not at all, no.
I don't know the actual dates, but it was surprisingly recent, the last one. We like to think we're quite developed, but we're really, really not.
No. I'm just scrolling through my notes and just random sentences like, she went to visit Richard Two Shoes to suck him off.
And he did throw out his curdle,
which is such
a grim line.
Yeah.
It's the way she says all these lines that we know what she's meaning, but it's so funny in oldie-worldy language.
Yes.
Did I not bring you pleasure?
Yeah. And when she says, I've suckled on a good many things in my 10.
And we all.
Yeah.
And like at the end when she's free to go and like she's even then insisting on sucking him off to say thank you.
Yeah. That's clearly the currency of the day.
Well, yeah. Knew what she was worth.
Yeah. I feel like she's really familiar, the actress, and I looked her up to see what else I would have seen her in, and I couldn't find anything that I would have seen.
No, well, I know she was in Unforgotten, which I'd seen her in, but other than that, yeah, I'd have expected to see her in more stuff.
She's very good, though.
Yeah, she's great. She really sells it. And like I said a bit earlier, I don't think I was trying to look out for the twist, because I think that was, I'd not really seen many at that point, and I bought her that she was just being screwed over by literally everyone in this town for one reason or another. I love how so they're terrified of witches and demons, but they'll just bring one in, as far as they're concerned, knowingly a demon into their little barn to see what it does when they like tip it out of its bottle.
Yeah, and they'll like happily like question it and
yeah, are you really a demon? Like, what you doing, dude? Like, in theory, this is some like evil entity.
Yeah. And all that bollocks about the crow that had its leg caught that could have been an imp, and then apparently the crow told them that the man who'd reported it was actually bedeviled. Although I think it's implied that Mr. Warren just made that up
to find something to accuse them of.
Yes. So you just hate people like that.
Or just spin anything somehow. They always win the argument no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Did you spot the hair this week?
No, not at all.
It's quite tricky, but it is there. It's sort of on the table at the back of the barn.
Okay.
Behind Reese and Steve and Pike.
Bit weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why it would be there.
No, but it just has to be.
Has to be somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of in the shadows.
If I'd had to guess, I would have said, somewhere with all the torture equipment or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Yeah, strange.
Are there any bits about it you don't like? Any things that let it down for you?
Well, before I answer that, shall we do our rating?
Sure.
So, what do you give it?
This is a really tough one for me because I really love this episode, but it's equally not as impressive in the same way as, say, last week.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's really tough because I'm like, I don't have anything that I don't like about it that would mean I should knock it down. But equally, it feels wrong to give it such a high score and say it's as good as last week.
I think you've got to look at it for what it is.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to reach the heights of the last couple of episodes, but...
Yeah, but for what it is, and how much I enjoyed it on a scale of 1 to 9, I think I have to go an 8, to be honest. Because
really?
I just really enjoy it for what it is.
Cool.
And at the end of the day, I know I'm giving a lot of high scores out, but I mean, I wouldn't be doing a podcast about something that I didn't enjoy.
No, exactly.
So a lot of them are going to be higher scores. But yeah, I do really love it. And I've watched it so many times and I still laugh out loud at certain bits of it. And I don't really, I've been really trying to think of things that are bad about it, and I'm really struggling.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That's where you give it a 2.
No, mine's going to look really harsh, yeah. So I was thinking a 5.
Okay.
Which is not to say that I don't like it, because I do. Yeah, I think it's just like we were saying, like it's a different kind of episode. It's not going to be... for me, it wouldn't be one that I would give a 9 or anything like that to. It was perfectly enjoyable, very funny. But I think just compared to the show as a whole, like there are many better ones. So I'm putting it at a 5, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It's tough. It's the reason why the likes of comedies never win Oscars and things, because it's tricky to do something funny when you compare it to something like 12 Days of Christine, for example, where yes, it might be still funny in points, but it's an entirely different thing. It's much easier to see something as impressive when it's dramatic.
Yes.
Yeah. I enjoy it for what it is, and I don't have any issues with it, so yeah, that's where I'm going.
Is that the biggest? I think that's the biggest gap so far between our ratings, yeah.
I'm easily pleased. There'll be plenty of ones I don't like later, so...
Will there? Okay.
I'm
Interesting.
Sure.
I do feel like we've not had much to say this week.
Yeah. It's a tricky one. I almost find it easier to talk about the ones that I don't like
than
the ones that I do.
But yeah, very fun. Certainly not a bad episode at all.
No.
Next week is Cold Comfort.
It is, yes.
I look forward to that.
I've not seen that in a very long time, so I'm excited to see that again.
Interesting. I remember really liking it the first time.
Yeah, from what I remember it being good.
But yeah, I think that's all, isn't it, for this week?
Yeah. Let us know if you spotted the episode title.
Yes, please do.
Good luck.
Yeah. For now, I think it's time to close the door on number 9.
But you never really leave, do you?
Thanks for listening to The Ninth Degree. If you'd like to get in touch, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok at Ninth Degree Pod, or email us at ninthdegreepod@gmail.com. You can also leave us a rating or a review wherever you get your podcasts.